today's toy spot, we are having a look at the NECA Toys Portal 2 Atlas. Atlas, like the Peabody we've already had a look at, does include an Aperture Science handheld portal device and working LED lights. That's so very cool. Was a big fan of the Peabody. Of course, we've already had a look at him and want to pick up Atlas and have a look at him as well. They gotta say though, for NECA Toys, there's those intricate parts that I really like about the piece. It ends up being a little more of a fragile piece to deal with, but at the end of the day, it's one of those pieces that is borderline of a high-end collectible, especially when you start factoring LED lights to the equation. It is recommended for ages 14 and up. It does have a warning choking hazard as small parts, not recommended for children under 3 years of age. Spin around the back of the package. Your read-up says, whether you're a mega science corporation with decades of test experience or a young scientist with big dreams, liberating your first test projects from non-testing with a chloroform-soaked rag, take that first brave scientific step into non-human collaborative testing with the Atlas model, built from the finest personality core scraps fished out of our pneumatic diversity vents. Again, you can check out more from NECA Toys by going to www.necaonline.com. Spot's going to take a break. I'm going to get this opened up, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Portal 2 Atlas. There's more anyway, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Also, much like the Peabody, the first thing you want to do when you get Atlas out of packaging is take the clear tabs. There's one underneath the portal gun, and we just pull that out. That obstructs, by the way, the flow of power from the battery to the circuit that powers whatever it's doing. With the plastic out, you can press the button and the portal device lights up. Peabody's, on the other hand, lit up red. Atlas here lights up a nice, almost like pinkish colored purple, almost even borderline more pink. That's a really nice touch. Also, the Peabody model had this as gold with, of course, the red section painted in the middle. Atlas, on the other hand, has blue with still the Aperture logo there, company logo, and the pink light in the middle there. And to again turn that off, you just press the button. By the way, if you want to replace it, it looks like it's an LR41 battery, so a standard, not so much standard, but the little standard silver disc batteries. They tend to be usually LR41 or LR44 batteries. So you get the portal gun. And again, you want to do the exact same thing with Atlas here. Spin around the back of the figure, and the pull tab is located right in the middle. Pull that out, put that really just to the side. And his button, its button, is located right at the top here that you have to spin around the sphere dome here. Turn it on, and Atlas will light up a very nice blue. I've been picking up, well, I've picked this guy up, and when we had him out of packaging, I've been playing with him for like the last half hour, 40 minutes or so, and I really like this piece. It's so intricate. The LED is a nice touch. I mean, it's one of those pieces too that if you didn't necessarily play Portal 2, or really the original Portal, it's one of those figures you can just pick up and you really admire. You admire a lot of the intricate details, a lot of the work that they would have put into making a piece like this. By the way, for a comparison, we'll just turn off Atlas's light. There we go. For comparison, we'll just put him to the side and bring in Peabody. Peabody, a little more problematic, a little harder to stand because of the lankier legs, but we'll just move those to the side. There's Atlas, there's Peabody. And turn on the lights. Peabody, remember, having orange. Atlas, once again, turn on that button here. I'm just trying to do it with my hand here. Turn on, and we've got a nice blue. Nice contrast between the two. They're similar. They're very similar also in color scheme, both sharing that dark gray, the gold on the outlines, some of the little outline areas, and this black. Just turn off Peabody. Just put him to the side. We've already had a look at him. I find the only one problem with Atlas. It stands a little bit better, I feel, than Peabody. As you can see, stands a little bit better. The thing with Atlas, though, is its head spins technically all the way around, A nice feat of technology, a nice feat of design, I should say. And the head rotates up and down. The thing is, though, it only spins around when you have the light on. Why I say that, these flip up too. Why I say that is when the button is pushed in or on, it doesn't obstruct it. As you can see, it clears the frame of what holds the head in place. When you turn it off, it sticks it further out. Obviously, the on-off button will stick out further, so it prevents you from turning the head. You can still turn it up to the point it reaches where this switch is, and then again, it kind of locks it in place. In some ways, as you can also see, when you turn the head, if you kind of just give it enough of a push, it turns the light on in the process. But I wouldn't be relying on doing this to turn it on and off. I would actually be doing it by hand. So if you want to get the head centered, you'd want to have the light left on, and you know, on either side of it to turn it off, it will kind of leave the figure kind of slightly on an angle. It's got more stuff to it. Atlas as a whole has more stuff to it. You can really appreciate like look how many pistons, for example, are even in his legs. 2 longer pistons in the bottom of the legs and 2 shorter pistons at the top. The shorter pistons don't seem to have to work as hard. In fact, the top piston almost is non-existent. It's there to let the legs extend further out, but the middle piston and the long piston at the bottom are the ones that are doing most of the work. So the legs can spread out. You may not necessarily want the legs out that far, but as you can see, they do spread out quite a bit. When it comes to its articulation, Atlas, it does and it doesn't have more articulation. It does in the sense that like its legs can do a little more movement. It has a bend in its knee where you can see more of the pistons working its action on the back there. And it has the same pivot points in the toe. When it comes to the arms bend, in the elbows at least, and the thumbs have the same ball joint in the thumbs, so it could still hold the portal gun. When it gets to the top of the arms, though, the arms don't really move so much at the top here, as much as, for example, Peabody could rotate a little bit up going on the shoulder there as well. Atlas doesn't quite have that going for it. But we can take its portal gun. I apologize. Everyone's like, Spot, it's not a boy. But you can take the portal gun and finagle the thumb through the slot. It's a little harder because the dome obviously covers over the handle. But if you can get the hand, even in just slightly makeshift version of it, you can get it to hold the portal gun. And what you might just end up doing is kind of holding it more from the bottom end of it, like that. And then you can have him holding the portal gun that way. Once again, a fantastic piece. You have to say, though, I mean, if you're not a big Portal fan, and I say that really for a lot of like NECA's pieces, if you're not a fan of said item, whether it be, I don't know, Assassin's Creed or Portal or, you know, even like some of the horror properties that they've done, if you're not a fan of that property, you might still even love the toy because the toy just brings a lot to the table. Like, for example, I don't play a lot of Portal, but I can really appreciate the level of detail that NECA would have put into this. The little wires, the little tubes, the little pistons all come together for a very intricate piece, and for a plastic figure, it is really borderline a high-end collectible. I mean, the only thing that really would make this, really would prevent this from being a high-end collectible is, I suppose, the materials. As opposed to it being plastic, if this was a smaller scale figure, let's say in die-cast metal, people by nature would consider it a high-end collectible. But high-end collectibles can easily be plastic pieces as well, and NECA is clearly showing examples of how that's possible. Today's Toy Spot, we were having a look at the NECA Toys Portal 2 Atlas, complete with the Aperture portal gun. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more Toy Spots heading your way. Thanks for watching, as you always do. I'll see you next time.